Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I'm doing another Fatal Friday video. Fatal Friday being the series I do where I go into the Kombat League for Mortal Kombat 1 and to use the main roster and cameo fighters in order to earn their unique finishers like Brutalities and Fatalities. This time around, I'm taking Tanya back into the Kombat League along with the cameo Sonya Blade. With that team up, we're going after Tanya's Brutality, Head Kase.
Is your order prepared if Tarkat reaches it?
And Headcase is the Brutality version of Tanya's grounded projectile. She also has an airborne projectile that's very similar, but there's nothing related to that causes a Brutality. And my randomly selected competitor in the Kombat League this time around is going to be a Baraka user who is making use of the Stryker cameo. Now, this was about a week or two after Peacemaker was released, which meant that patch went through that basically sort of made Stryker a lot worse. So what could have been a very annoying matchup with Stryker covering all of the unsafe things that Baraka might want to do, well, suddenly it's a lot less scary. Now, that combo probably would have ended the match, but Baraka decides to use his breaker on it instead, which is honestly kind of amazing for me. With him on such low amounts of health, it was very unlikely that he was going to make any kind of a comeback, which he did not do. So since I won that round and he used his breaker, he has no bars of meter left, I have all 3 bars of my meter left, and it just puts me in a very good position against him going into the second round. So yeah, this is going pretty well so far. I will say this person using Baraka has not been as aggressive as I would have expected, and that's especially true when it comes to this second round. Now, it is during this round that Baraka kind of just hangs back a decent amount rather than trying to be aggressive and rush after me. And that kind of just left me zoning him the entire time, shooting projectiles as much as I could between Tanya and Sonya. Now, he kind of tried to do the same thing, shooting one of his projectiles using Stryker's grenades. And I don't know if he was actually trying to zone with me or if he was just uncertain about how to close the distance without getting hit. But I did kind of notice that, and I don't know, I can't speak for all Baraka users, but they tend to try to do some really aggressive things whenever they are at a distance like that. And this person really was not doing that, at least not early on. But even though I kind of caught him at a distance for a good portion of that second round, he did manage to close the distance eventually and made that a really close fight. We both ended up well below 30% health by the end of the fight, and we both had opportunities to try and close everything out. He tried using his fatal blow to close everything out. I blocked it. That really should have been the end of the fight right there because that was super punishable, but I did not really seize that opportunity, and I'm sure I did some unsafe stuff too that he probably could have taken advantage of. So in the end, I fumbled my way to a victory in the very first match. Let's hope things go a bit more smoothly in the second one. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that if you enjoy seeing people block and struggling to get more than one hit in at a time against their opponent, you're going to love about the next 20 seconds. Because man, me and Baraka over here were just not getting anything going against each other in the early portions of this round. Eventually though, Baraka did end up breaking that trend, as you can see. He managed to get a decent enough combo against me whenever we were struggling to get anything going prior to that. And realizing I was not able to really get any sort of combos of my own against him, at least not during that period of time, I elected to go ahead and retreat and just resort to more of a zoning tactic, hoping that Baraka would do something unsafe or just leave himself open to bigger damage from one of Tanya's combos. Like that one right there, had he not used his breaker on it. Man, that sucks. Pretty much every single time I have the opportunity for a really good combo, he has breaker, so I'm not really getting to show any of that off, unfortunately. Now, Tanya's not a terrible zoning character, but that's really not how I like to use her, so I'm a little bit surprised to see myself doing it that much in this fight. But because of it, I do end up taking the very first round of this second match, so I guess I'm not too surprised that I kept doing it. Whenever I find something that is working, I tend to keep doing it until they prove that they can stop it. And due to all the early success, all I need is one more round and we're going to wrap this thing up. And it is probably around this time that I realized I did not even try to go for the brutality in the first round. Like whenever I'm reviewing this again, I just now realized it. And while I don't know this for a fact, if I were to put myself in the shoes of myself whenever I was actually playing through this match, I assume that's when I realized it as well, because there was no effort whatsoever to try and get the brutality previously. Alright, at this point, my opponent is not moving, not blocking, not doing anything. I think he gave up. Let's go ahead and go for the brutality.
Brutality! Tanya wins.
Alright, and that was the head case brutality for Tanya. Now, in the end, I do wish I could have gotten it in a somewhat more competitive way since my opponent seemed to have just given up there at the very end. But even so, I did win pretty much the entirety of the rest of the match, and it was all but like one hit away from victory, so it wasn't like I didn't earn it to some extent. It just got a little bit easier when my opponent gave up. So that being said, I will take it. Although if I would offer any bit of advice to the opponents, I would just say whenever you're about to lose like that, don't necessarily give up. I've been in these really weird situations where I've managed to make some gigantic comebacks, people have managed to make gigantic comebacks against me, and you never know when you're going against a jackass like myself who is going for one specific finisher, and if you continue to do things that are not advantageous for them, where they cannot get that finisher, suddenly you're just getting a lot of openings to come back in the fight. So even though it would have been very difficult, it was certainly not impossible. Anyway though, with that brutality out of the way, we're pretty much done here. If you enjoyed getting to see that brutality, be sure to check out some of the other stuff on my Thor's Entertainment channel. I do have other finisher videos just like this under the Mortal Kombat 1 online playlist. And if you are interested in the story modes for Mortal Kombat, I do have playthroughs of various ones for like Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, and, well, Mortal Kombat 1. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you next time.
Brutality! Tanya wins.